Was there a tone in this country that was actually started with the election of our first black president that is bringing the crazies out of the woodwork? And are they being motivated to move by right-wing pronouncements like he's dangerous, he's a socialist, he's a Muslim, and he isn't even a U.S. citizen? This is what we hear on some TV and radio outlets, which, by the way, according to our Constitution, they are entitled to what they believe and even propagate. But Eric Bolert, who's a senior fellow at the liberal website Media Matters for America, says there is a connection. Roger Aronoff, an analyst for the conservative watchdog group Accuracy in Media, says no, not so fast. We thank you both, gentlemen, for being with us. The floor is yours. I will referee Eric. Start with the premise that I read that you had been writing about today, if you would.
Well, yeah, I don't think there's any doubt since Barack Obama has been elected. There's been a complete unhinged reaction from the conservative movement in America, and sort of this vigilante and militia-style rhetoric has become a cornerstone of the movement and certainly of conservative media. And there are consequences and responsibilities when you sort of broadcast that hate 24/7. You know, we saw it in the 90s. We saw this sort of rhetoric about socialist, Marxist, New World Order. But you had to dig around the underground to find that stuff about the Clintons and Democrats. Now you just turn on talk radio or cable news, and it's literally inundated. And it seems to be unconscionable that the people that are pushing it are not, at this moment, taking a step back and reevaluating what they should be doing.
But do you believe there's a cause and effect here?
I think it absolutely creates a dangerous environment, and there's no doubt about that. Now, the people who commit these crimes are ultimately responsible. But there's no question it creates a very dangerous environment.
Mr. Aronoff.
Yes, I don't know where Eric's been the last 6 years or so, but the hatred coming from the left and people like Keith Olbermann.
And where's the violence from the left been in the last 6 or 8 years? There hasn't been any.
The day after George Tiller was murdered, we had Abdul Muhammad kill Private Long. And we've seen, before that, there was other incidents.
But the point is, Mr. Aronoff, how was that? But how was that Abdul Hakim Muhammad's actions spurred, or where was the cause and effect by anybody on the radio that may have caused them to do that?
Well, he obviously had a very strong feeling against the military, and after years of hearing how the president and the vice president were war criminals and lied us into a war, and night after night hearing this hatred coming from the left, it's understandable. Okay. But I in no way would blame any of this on Keith Olbermann, just like I wouldn't do the guilt by association of what happened yesterday. This man who 28 years ago had gone into the Federal Reserve building with a rifle to arrest Paul Volcker, to somehow suggest that he was motivated by talk radio. If you go to his website, he talks about socialism is the future of the world.
No, that's not the kind of socialism he's talking about. I don't think he's talking about socialism as in the Nazi Party socialism. But go ahead and pick that up for us, Eric.
Well, I don't think there's a historical connection between the left and the Ku Klux Klan in this country. You were just reporting on your undercover agent saw him at Klan rallies and things like that. Look, I mean, that's the false equivalency now. You know, liberals were critical of Bush and had hate speech during his years. I can't find any, you know, dehumanizing, demonizing quotes from anyone on the left about military recruiters. The left is not built around this vigilante sort of militia rhetoric of hate.